on our web interface, let's add rates according to our practical task. Inside the tariff, let's go to rates, and we are directly on the add rate tab. So let's start with Ukraine fixed lines. Okay, we are not going to distinguish between peak and off-peak periods, so we're gonna leave flat rate. We are gonna use the simplest interval of 1 second, and our price is going to be 10 cents per minute. The price for next interval is copied automatically. It can be modified later, but we are not going to do this. Important note here, intervals are specified in seconds. Nevertheless, we enter price per minute. Okay, it's just easier. We can change our interval to 30 seconds, for example, without any need to change the price. Okay, we can also see that this rate will be effective immediately. As soon as we save it, it's going to appear in the system. We are not going to enter any rate formula or set any additional options, so we're just going to click save here. According to our practical task, we need to add several Ukraine mobile destinations. One of them is 38066. And the price is 15 cents a minute. As you can see, the system remembers the latest values entered, and this is quite handy if we enter several destinations that have the same price. In the scope of our practical task, we also have to add EU countries. Let's add Spain, for example. Let's save this one first. Let's add Spain. It's 34. Okay, whole country. And the price is going to be 3 cents a minute. Let's save it. We don't need to apply any other configurations here. From what we've just done, you can see that entering rates, especially if you have more than 100 rates manually, it's quite a tedious task. In real life, of course, we wouldn't do it manually. We would use this rate upload button, and we would need rates in a CSV or XLS file to be able to upload them. All rates that we've created so far are effective immediately. These are for our practical task. For the sake of the example, let's add one more destination that wasn't on our task, just to see how rates can come into effect at a specified date and time. Okay, let's add Argentina, for example. The prefix for Argentina is 54. Let's set a price of 30 cents per minute, and the rate is going to be effective immediately. Okay, let's add it. It's right here, and we can check when it comes into effect. Okay, it comes into effect right away. Okay, now for the same destination, 54, let's set a specific date and time for a price drop. Let's say the price for calls to Argentina drops by half, and it's going to be effective. And let's say we want the price reduction to come into effect on the New Year's Day at midnight. Okay, we choose New Year's Day here and click OK. Now when we click save, the rate is going to appear in the list, but if we scroll to the right to effective from, we're going to see this is actually the one that's is going to come into effect later on January 1st. So now actually we have two different rates to Argentina with different effective from dates. The first one, this one here, that is effective from right now, and this other one that will be effective from January 1st, 2023. If we didn't have the option to postpone this so-called rate activation, and we wanted the price change to happen right when the ball dropped, our administrator Bob would be making configuration changes in Porta billing on the New Year's Eve instead of celebrating and drinking a glass of champagne with his friends. What other important things can be pointed out about rate management in Porta billing? In our tariff, we currently have a rate to 380 at 10 cents a minute and a rate to 380.66 at 15 cents a minute. If I call a number starting by 380.66, Porta billing system would choose the rate 380.66 instead of 380 because it's the longest match. It always chooses the longest match. We can check this using our rate simulator. To get to our rate simulator, we need to click this button Test up top and enter a simulation date. Different rates may be effective on different dates. This is why it's important. So let's say the simulation date is tomorrow. The time is not important, and we want to test our destination that starts with 380.66 and just some phone number that starts with this prefix, and the session time is the duration of our call. Let's enter 3 minutes and 10 seconds. And now let's click test. We can see that the charge amount is 47.5 cents and the charge is calculated as 190 intervals of 1 second at the price of 15 cents a minute. 3 minutes are 180 seconds, and then we have additional 10 seconds. That's how it's calculated, okay? Now let's test again, entering a number that starts with 380. We don't have a longer destination that matches this number here. So what we are expecting is that the rate that is going to apply here is 10 cents a minute for the destination 380. Let's check it. I'm going to leave everything else the same. I'm going to click test now. Okay, and we can see the charge amount is here. And we have the same 190 intervals of 1 second charged at 10 cents a minute. Everything is as expected. What happens if we try to call a number in Germany, for example, but we don't have a destination for Germany in our tariff? Let's click test and see what happens. I have already pre-entered a German number here. Everything else stays the same. Let's click test. Okay, the system tells us that there are no rates for this destination, meaning that this call will not be allowed. It will not go through. And what happens if we have a rate for a specific destination, for example 380, but the destination also contains very expensive premium numbers? We don't want our customers to be able to call these numbers. How can we configure the system accordingly so that the customers can call all regular numbers, but they can't call those special destinations that are very expensive? For those special premium numbers, we can create an additional destination. For example, in Ukraine, numbers that start with 380.90 are very expensive. So let's add this destination and forbid it. We choose our prefix. We are going to need a price because it won't let us save a rate without a price. So we're just going to enter 0 here. And here we're going to activate the toggle forbidden. Let's click save. Now we have our forbidden destination here. If someone tries to call the destination 380.90 right now, even though there is a rate for this destination, the call will be rejected. Let's check it. Nothing else matters. Just let's click test. And the system tells us that there are no rates for this destination. It treats this destination in the same way as if there were no rate for this destination. So the customers won't be able to call this destination. Before we wrap up this part, I would like to mention a couple of important aspects. We already know that rates can become effective in the future, But in the past, rates cannot be modified. This would create serious inconsistencies in our data. Let's add another destination and make a couple of modifications to see the rate modification history. Let's add a destination for Brazil. For example, let's say the first price and the next price are 35 cents. We will apply it immediately. Okay, let's save. Now we've realized we made a mistake. It wasn't 35 cents a minute, it was 25. So we are going to enter the new rate to the same destination, 55, Brazil, and apply it immediately as well. If we refresh our data, we are going to see only the last rate for Brazil, the 25 cents. But if we change our filters, we will be able to see the history. Okay, here effective at and before. We can see that at first it was 35 cents a minute, and a minute later it was changed to 25. We have both rates here for consistency. This is the way we can understand the changes in rates applied at any given moment. What happens if we have a rate that we no longer need? For example, we don't want this rate to Brazil at 25 cents anymore because the service provider doesn't have any customers who call Brazil, and they decided to no longer provide calls to Brazil. We cannot delete a rate because we need to keep it for statistics. For example, to answer questions about charging generated using the rate when it was effective. Okay, but we can do something about it. We go to edit. This is our 25 cents rate. And we go here and activate the toggle discontinued. Let's click save. And our rate is no longer effective, but it remains in the system. Let's check if it really has been discontinued by choosing this yes in the filter, apply, and we have only one discontinued rate to Brazil at 25 cents a minute, discontinued. So it's similar to deleted, but it stays in the system.